Good evening. I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. Police are investigating a double shooting incident in Camp Springs. It happened early this afternoon near a condominium complex at the 4300 block of Telfair Boulevard. Police say it's very early in the investigation, but 2 males were shot in the incident. They were transported to local hospitals. No word yet on their conditions. The Bidens visit the memorial site this morning of the horrific mass shooting in Buffalo. The president and first lady placed flowers at the memorial, honoring the 10 people that were murdered over the weekend. As we reported, the alleged shooter, Peyton Gendron, opened fire at the Tops grocery store in Buffalo this past Saturday. Tops is in a predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo. The Bidens traveled to New York today to meet the victims' families.
The day's going to come. It will come when your loved one brings a smile as you remember him or her. As you remember her, it's going to bring a smile to your lip before it brings a tear to your eye. It takes a while for that to happen. It takes a while. It might take more than a season. But our prayer for you is that that time comes sooner or later.
Buffalonians are brave, compassionate, resolute. And this community will emerge from this tragedy stronger and more determined than before.
3 people survived the shooting incident. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers, and they indicate an increase in the metrics. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed more than 2,200 new cases. The state positivity rate is above 8%, and here in Prince George's, it's at 8.98%. 18 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours. 403 people are hospitalized, and that's an increase of 39 from yesterday. Well, good news on the vaccine front. The FDA today authorized the use of Pfizer's booster dose for some school-aged children. The agency has given the green light for kids 5 through 11 years old to get the booster shot. The third dose can be given at least 5 months after the child has received the first 2 shots. Remember, Pfizer's booster shot has already been authorized for eligible kids 12 through 15 years old. Parents struggling to find baby formula could find some relief in the next few weeks. The Food and Drug Administration has reached an agreement with Abbott Nutrition to reopen one of its closed factories and increase production. The facility was shut down in February after several babies became ill after drinking formula, and 2 died of bacterial infections. The Justice Department had filed a complaint against Abbott, one of the largest formula manufacturers in the U.S., alleging that the factory failed to comply with quality and safety regulations. The company and the government have now agreed to a proposed settlement to resolve the complaint. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up, changing algorithms of healthcare. We'll explain after the break. Stay with us.
I expected it to be a lot easier.
I thought it was going to be a piece of cake. I didn't know what step to take next.
I was transitioning from the military.
I was a vehicle gunner.
An avionics specialist.
I was an MP, military police.
My friends thought I could do anything.
I missed my unit, my family.
Playing with my daughter, I felt like a stranger.
I was overwhelmed.
I couldn't sleep.
I just wanted to be by myself.
I didn't have a clear sense of what to do next.
I was too proud. And then I thought, if I'm going through this, other veterans have gone through it too,
right?
I started to open up.
And it made a huge difference.
So I reached out, and I saw that I wasn't alone.
Because before I was able to take on my next mission, I had to take on just taking care of myself.
To find
Purpose.
We are not alone. Other veterans have transitioned from the military and overcome mental health challenges. Visit maketheconnection.net.
Welcome back. The University of Maryland Medical System recently announced a major change that could encourage greater racial parity in healthcare. The hospital system, which comprises numerous facilities across the state, says it has eliminated race as a factor in birthing decisions, a concept that has historically been part of a national standard.
Many of these approaches are archaic and are historically rooted in bias and discrimination.
Dr. Joseph Wright is talking about an algorithm that uses race to calculate whether a woman is best suited to have a normal birth after having a cesarean section.
I had a C-section. This was my first delivery, so it wasn't expected. We did try to have a vaginal birth, but I wasn't dilating.
It's pretty common. Yeah, it's not abnormal for a first-time mom to have a C-section.
Under the old algorithm, Black and Hispanic women would traditionally have a lower score, making it highly probable that they would have subsequent C-sections, surgeries which are considered major operations.
Historically, this has come from a place where it was felt that the pelvic architecture for women of color was less suitable for vaginal delivery, which is insane.
Dr. Wright says that theory is not rooted in any kind of science. It's just a biased assumption about non-white women. That's why the University of Maryland Medical System is retiring that algorithm in its 13 facilities. They're replacing it with one that doesn't use race and ethnicity as modifiers in that decision-making.
The American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists has not only removed race and ethnicity for Black and Hispanic women from the calculator, but have incorporated chronic hypertension, which is obviously an important clinical metric.
I would still want to opt for a C-section the second time.
The new algorithm may not change Amani Cruz's mind, but nurse Danielle Austin thinks it's a great idea.
I think it's awesome because a lot of times in our minds we're going to have a vaginal delivery, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but that gives them the second chance to try again. So it's great.
Dr. Wright says his office will be studying the impact of this change and how providers are applying the new tool. In February, the healthcare system removed race as a factor in determining where people of color are regarding chronic kidney disease. That algorithm change is also being monitored to see if it impacts where Black patients are on the kidney transplant list. He says there are still many other race-based calculators that need to be eliminated. And today, May 17th, is World Hypertension Day. Here at home, the American Medical Association says heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. The organization says nearly half of all Black women over the age of 20 have heart disease. A coalition of organizations is hosting a virtual event tonight called We Derby with Heart to talk about hypertension and other health issues.
We're asking Black adults age 20 and older to form watch parties and get everyone you know to watch. On there, they will learn how to take their blood pressure properly, what a validated blood pressure device is. Not all BP devices are created equally. And if you start with the wrong numbers, you think your numbers are under control and you have the wrong information, you understand that could be dire. We have got to change the statistics by any means necessary.
And to watch the event, which is scheduled for 8 tonight, go to ebony.com and enter RTP on the search bar. Well, there are safety concerns at Metro. The Washington Metro Rail Safety Commission has issued an order regarding the system's improper rail power restoration. The commission says Metro is putting its employees at risk of serious injury or death by repeatedly bypassing safety redundancies in the third rail power restoration procedures when track work is being performed. The order cites safety events that occurred in April and May. And Metro's general manager retires early. CEO Paul Wiedefeld stepped down from his post at the transit agency yesterday. Wiedefeld was expected to retire on June 30th. In a statement, he also accepted the resignation of COO Joe Leader. Interim general manager Andy Off will replace Wiedefeld temporarily until Randy Clark, the new general manager, takes office. Motorists who got penalties for unpaid video tolls will get some relief under a bill signed into law on Monday. The measure, which takes effect July 1st, requires authorities to waive civil penalties on video tolls if the fees are paid. During the early days of the pandemic, some cars billed by video toll were charged more expensive commercial rates. Others reported malfunctioning Easy Pass transponders. Police identified the man shot and killed in Glen Arden Sunday night. He's 32-year-old Melvin Love of Severn. He was found shot to death in the 3200 block of Reed Street. Police are offering a reward of up to $25,000 for tips leading to an arrest and indictment in this case. Still ahead here on CTV News tonight, the County Council pays tribute to local community leaders. We'll have the story next. Stay with us.
Here are your AARP top tips on caregiver preparedness during coronavirus. First, form a caregiving team. Create a list of people in your family and friend network who can help with caregiving tasks. Take an inventory of supplies in your loved one's home. Try to have a 2-week supply of essential items. Make a list of the care recipient's medications and medical contacts. Be sure to have prescriptions on hand and ask the pharmacist for an extra 30-day supply. Make a plan to stay connected. To prevent social isolation, set up available technology to help loved ones stay connected and schedule regular chats. Finally, maintain your own self-care. Follow the Centers for Disease Control's guidelines for coronavirus safety. And have a backup plan for care in case you become ill. For more caregiving tips during the coronavirus pandemic, go to aarp.org/caregiving.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, it was a special day at the County Council today as nearly a dozen proclamations were awarded to individuals and groups for their work. Among those honored were the Bowie State football team and their head coach, Damon Wilson. The Bulldogs were celebrated for winning their 3rd straight CIAA championship. Also honored was Warren Shad, who is the first African-American piano manufacturer in the world.
We've done pretty well. I have our pianos on the stage of American Idol. We are the pianos of the show Empire. We've been on that show for the official pianos. We're branding partners with Rolls-Royce. We have pianos in Rolls-Royce showrooms around the world, and we're also the official pianos of the Vatican.
Anytime our student athletes get recognized from a state standpoint and local government standpoint is great. You know, this is what it's all about: coming to college, getting a college degree, but also building relationships and being awarded, for your efforts on the playing field as well in the classroom.
Other recipients included the Bowie State women's bowling team. The University of Maryland, Baltimore has a new law school dean. She's Renee McDonald Hutchins, a nationally recognized Fourth Amendment expert. Hutchins takes over at the Carey School of Law on August 1st. A graduate of Spelman College and Yale Law School, Hutchins currently leads the David Clark School of Law at UDC. And last week, we introduced you to a local pastor, Albert Pilla. He recently released a new book called Audacious Prayers, Making Bold Requests, Expecting Answers. Pilla says reciting the Lord's Prayer is a good starting point for someone wanting to implement prayer in their daily lives. The pastor and author want readers to pray despite the many challenges they may face.
Don't have this concept of God who, is so high and mighty that we can't approach him. He's a loving Father. In fact, the Bible says we should come boldly before the throne of grace. We will receive mercy and grace to help us in our time of need. So I think we have to take the fear out. And we should understand that nothing is too big for God to answer, and nothing is too small.
Pilla will host a book launch and signing on Saturday, June 4th at the Homewood Suites by Hilton. He is the pastor of Renewal Christian Church. And now let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, cloudy with lows around 52. Tomorrow, sunny with a chance of evening showers, highs near 75. Thursday, cloudy, possible showers, highs in the 80s. And Friday, sunny skies again, highs in the upper 80s. And that is your CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.